life from 1799 onwards was the agent for the publisher Breitkopf von Hertel, Georg August Griesinger. Apart from being good at being a publisher's agent, Haydn came to trust him, and Griesinger became Haydn's most reliable biographer. An interesting report was made by a Swedish visitor, a certain Prince Starhemberg, to Eisenstadt in September 1802, when, as usual, Haydn's latest Mass was performed on the princess's birthday. Starhemberg records that Haydn was the honoured guest at the prince's table. Still in their employ, he had risen from servant to being one of the most distinguished men of his age. Haydn grew old in the comfort of his house at Gumpendorf. When he was dying, French armies were threatening Vienna. He died here on 3rd May 1809, but his last days were not plagued by great illness, only the weakness of old age after a busy and immensely fruitful life. Life of almost 60 years, Haydn's output of music was enormous. It can be roughly broken up into 6 groups: orchestral works, chamber music, religious music, song, operas, and oratorios. Anthony von Hoboken catalogued Haydn's music, so the numbers are called Hoboken numbers. Haydn wrote over 100 symphonies for orchestra. The most popular today are the last 12, some of which have nicknames such as number 92 in G major, called the Oxford Symphony, number 94 in G major, called the Surprise, and number 104 in D minor and major, called the London Symphony. Haydn's symphonies reflect the times in which he grew up, measured, subtle, and complex, expressing powerful emotions, but without the rush and tumult of the Romantic age that was to follow. There is also a group of 40 pieces called divertimenti for small orchestras, played while people ate or at concerts between larger pieces. Haydn was the first master of the string quartet. Hoboken lists 83 quartets altogether. Particularly fine is Opus 76, number 3 in C major, called the Emperor, because it contains a tune he wrote for the national anthem. Opus 76, number 5 in D major, is Haydn at his delightful best. Haydn wrote a wide variety of pieces for 2 or 3 instruments, 126 baritone trios, for example, for his employer, who played the baritone with skill. The baritone has 6 strings and is rarely played today. There are 41 piano trios, 3 for piano, flute, and cello, and the rest piano, violin, and cello. There are around 50 piano sonatas. Some keyboard works were written specifically for the cembalo or harpsichord, and others for the organ. As we might expect, Haydn travelled a long way from his early sonatas to the late ones. The last group of 3 piano sonatas, numbers 50 to 52, are particularly fine. Haydn was devoutly religious, and he wrote some music for the private chapel of his employer, including a group of masses towards the end of his life. Fine among these is the Missa in Augustis in D minor, called the Nelson Mass, so called because Lord Nelson was in the congregation at the first performance. There is a vast collection of smaller church pieces, usually with orchestra. Haydn wrote many songs and cantatas with keyboard accompaniment. He wrote no less than 47 canons for singers, as well as part songs, and some lovely arrangements of folk songs, such as the Scottish songs published by William Napier of Edinburgh. A large part of Haydn's time was spent directing and conducting operas for the Esterhazy Opera House. Haydn was in charge of the whole operation. He wrote 13 full-scale operas and 5 puppet operas for the Marionette Theatre. They were tragedies or comedies based on contemporary or classical plays, and sadly are not often performed today. Il Mondo della Luna is his most successful, based on a comedy by Carlo Goldoni, the greatest comic playwright of the age. It's full of wonderful music. Haydn would be astonished to know that he is hardly known today as an operatic composer. The last group of works are the oratorios he wrote after hearing Handel's oratorios in London. Die Schöpfung, The Creation, is based on Milton's poem Paradise Lost, and Die Jahreszeit, The Seasons, based on a poem by the English poet Thomson, very popular at that time. The oratorios are full of wonderful choruses and orchestral delights, and merit their great popularity. The best of Haydn can be found in 2 works. The lovely quartet, Opus 76, No. 5, in D major, is a perfect measure of Haydn's quality. The oratorio, Die Schöpfung, The Creation, is a large-scale work of great beauty, which displays all of Haydn's talents.